Hi, my name is Jean Matthews. I am a parent of a son. Actually, I have 4 children. I lost my son in November of 2017, actually November 15th of 2017, right before Thanksgiving. He died of an opioid addiction. His drug of choice was fentanyl. I just found that out yesterday. I had no idea. I thought it was heroin. He started out in 8th grade on marijuana, and everybody thinks that marijuana is not a big issue. I had a conversation with my son later in life in one of his clean days, and he told me that marijuana quit working. What marijuana did to my son is make him not care about his grades, his athletic ability. He went to a private school, so blaming schools doesn't help. So I was a parent. You might as well say I was a single parent. I was married, but his dad thought marijuana was not a big deal. So if I could tell a parent anything, I would say, I don't care what your differences are, you be united. I tried everything when he was on marijuana, and everybody thought it was no big deal. So I'm not sure when he started on heroin. I was so busy trying to fix my own life, I lost sight of my children. I had 4. I had to forgive myself in order to get through the grief of dealing with my son, his death. I still have an addict in my family. I got into Al-Anon, which helps me with coping skills. And if I could say something to parents, I'd say put down your video. Put down your phone. Pay attention to your children. I chased after him. As soon as I found out he was on drugs, I fought with him. It was a constant fight. It was a constant looking through his drawers, going through his personal stuff, no respect. And I understand as a parent you have to have some form of, but not if there's no communication first. I would say talk and listen, and listen and talk. I called the police on him. I started, I know teachers and administrators will love this because I was one of those parents that was angry with the school. You're picking on my child. Literally, I did. I went and had a conference with one of the teachers, and it was math, and it was my son's best subject. It was Algebra 1 in 9th grade. And I had a conference with a teacher. I was going to go because I was mad because he was giving my son a failing grade, and I knew he was passing. The teacher brought a stack of papers like this big, and all of it was done in pencil, and my son's was done in ink. It looked like Chinese hieroglyphics. You couldn't see where the grades were, where the answers were, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And my son stood up and said, this is a waste of, and he said a bad word and stood up, and I said, yes, his and mine. And I opened my eyes. Support the school. Let the natural consequences of what your child does, let it be a natural consequence. If they do something illegal, let them get arrested. He sold marijuana to make money. That's what I heard. They found it on him at Grissom and was expelled. He was not arrested. He was expelled from school. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to let him go to that bad place. I'm going to send him to a private school. So I'm not sure where he got the heroin. And actually, street heroin is not expensive. That's the problem. It's not. It's one of the cheaper. The pills, the opioids, are actually more expensive, and that's why a lot of kids change from opiates to heroin. And he shot up. There's different ways you can use the patch. They found my son at his dad's house because his dad was a big enabler, with the needle still in his arm in the bathroom, and it was a crime scene. And yellow tape. I found out when my older son called me and said, Mom, Josh is dead. That's how I found out. I was outside of the Rite Aid on Airport Road and collapsed on the pavement. And everybody in that store came out and circled me and was praying. I knew my son struggled. He graduated from boot camp and came back for 2 weeks to go back to the classes, because they put you in classes. And when he came back, he must have relapsed. As a parent, I don't know how I missed that. I did. I knew that he didn't seem right, but he had to go back. He was a Marine. You had to go back. And they worked with him. They tried to keep him, and they couldn't. And it devastated my son, and I think he gave up. I begged Bradford to let him back in, and they said, and finally they said, well, we've got another program, we'll try to let you in. My son went in there and told them the whole truth. He was under a pending charge, they said, well, sure, we'll get you a bed, just go home, pack your stuff. We went home. I went to his dad's house. That's where he was living. And he packed up his stuff, and before he came out to the car, they had called me and said, I'm sorry, he can't come here. And I was devastated. And of course, my son said, oh, never mind, Mom, I don't care. And I wasn't going to let him quit. So I fought to get him into Pearson Hall. And he got into Pearson Hall, and his sister and his dad, I believe, laced his clothes with Xanax and got it into the rehab. So what I would say as an addict, you gotta want it. You gotta want it, and you gotta fight. This is not a game. This is like Russian roulette, because some people can do it. I mean, I know some try it once, but addicts run in my family and run in my ex-husband's family. And it's forgiving myself and knowing it's nobody's fault. It's a choice he made, and it's a disease. And I forgive myself for a lot of mistakes I made. And that doesn't help. That's my son's story. That's mine as a parent. The effects have been devastating. But I speak here because I don't want my son's death to go without I always say everybody has a purpose in life. As a student, find that purpose. As a parent, find that purpose. My son's purpose is coming after his death. I want to make a difference, but I want it not for me. I want it for my son. I want it for young people in this world.